We've got 50 Disney World secrets only the pros know on DFB Guide today, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret right now. There were a bunch of these that I didn't even know until we started researching. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. So I am back with another jam-packed Disney World hidden gem video that's heavy on the secrets and light on the stress. Before you know it, you'll be a Disney World pro and ready to take on the parks full force. I am, by the way, super excited about this video. I know I've been saying that a lot lately, but we are just having so much fun creating these videos with all these hidden gems and these secrets and these things that some of us are learning for the very first time, like as we are working with our team to kind of quiz them about their recent trips to Disney and about things that they just discovered. So we're coming up with all kinds of brand new things that we've never ever talked about before here on the channel. So there's a lot of those in here, so get ready. Now, throughout today's video, I'm going to be doing a little something extra. Every now and then, one of our pro secrets is going to be plucked right out of our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining, which you can find over on dfbstore.com. So not only are you going to be getting a lot of tips and tricks about Disney's rides and attractions and shows during today's video, oh, and hotels, of course, but you're also going to be loaded up with premium dining tips. And these are things that are sort of buried so far into the DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining that I bet some people just go right by them and don't even see them because there's so much information in there. But we wanted to pull them out for you and make sure you know about them. Okay, this is one of my favorites. It is controversial. I understand it's divisive, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out here because I feel like a lot of you will agree with me and I'm going to need you to let me know in the comments. The best Rise of the Resistance car is the red-blue combo. Okay, yes, there are two different ride experiences on Rise of the Resistance in Hollywood Studios. And yes, there is a version we like better. Now, before you board, you'll be assigned a color. Blue and red go to the front vehicle. Orange and white go to the back vehicle when you're loading. Now, while both experiences are still going to give you a mind-blowing ride through, there are 3 reasons we like the front vehicle version best, the red-blue version. Reason number 1, the probe droid targets you. That didn't sound great, but let me explain. Toward the beginning of the ride, the front car will see the first animatronic of the experience, the probe droid, up close and personal. Meanwhile, the back car just kind of passes on by it while the droid is lowered. Reason number 2, the AT-AT room. Now, once you're inside that room, trust me, you can't miss it. The front car goes through the AT-ATs and turns left, backing into the elevator with a view of Finn in his Stormtrooper gear against a wall. Then, after rising up, the front car is face to face with 2 Stormtroopers inside the head of the AT-AT on a screen with a red digital haze. Meanwhile, the back car moves through the AT-ATs and looks like it might actually escape the room through a large door, but the door closes and the car is whisked backwards. This car also sees Finn animatronic, but he's sitting behind some crates avoiding fire from the blasters. Now, when your transport vehicle rises up this time, you'll be looking at the side of the AT-AT instead of straight on. Reason number 3, Kylo Ren encounters. The final difference happens both times that the riders encounter Kylo Ren. In both Kylo scenes on the bridge and where the ship gets hit behind him near the end, sorry, spoilers, the front car is to Kylo's left while the back car is to his right. The way the experience differs here is that Kylo turns different directions when addressing the riders, but he'll always speak directly to the front car riders versus the back car ones. And I don't know why this is so important to me. I guess the first time I ever rode this ride, I realized that I liked that experience better than the other one. And every single time I've ridden it since, that whole opinion has been, fortified. So let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, took a long time to get us through number 1, but we've made it to number 2. Look at us go. So if you want to pay less for something, ask for less. I can't tell you how many times I've ordered a signature drink or limited time beverage or even a quick service entree with a completely jacked up price, just because it has a glow cube or it's in a fun little cup or it has a side item that I didn't even want to eat anyways. So while those novelty glow cubes and drink add-ons can be fun the first time you get them, they do tend to spike up the price of your drink by like $3 to $4, sometimes $5 extra. In some cases, you might be able to ask for the beverage without the additional glow cube, which will knock down the drink price. Same thing applies to those light up sippers, or please forgive me, asking for a Lapu Lapu from Polynesian Village Resort's Tambu Lounge, minus the carved out pineapple cup. So I won't order the Lapu Lapu all the time without my trusty pineapple steed, but when I do, I can shave down the price of this drink by $5. And if you want to pay less for a quick service entree, try ordering it without a side. This might not be applicable for every quick service entree, but often it can be done and will help you save a couple bucks on dining in the process. Just keep in mind that most of the time you cannot mobile order an entree and ask for it without the side. You'll have to stand in line and ask a cast member in person whether this is something that can be done or not to shave off some bucks. But it's like probably not everyone in the family needs a whole side of fries, right? People can share. Oh my gosh, I love this one. What did I tell you? I love this whole video. There's so many cool things in here. Okay, the murder mystery of Haunted Mansion. So when you get in line for Haunted Mansion, you don't become just another rider in the crowd. You become a detective. Check out the Dredd family busts inside the queue. On each bust, you'll find a riddle, and each riddle's gonna take you one step closer to what weapon was used to pull off such a heinous crime. Now, once you find the correct weapon, that'll point you to the killer. But don't let me spoil the fun for you. You can figure out this mystery for yourself. Or if you need a little help figuring this one out, or you just can't wait to solve this mystery and you want to have it revealed to you right now, you can always pick up our free and brand new DFB guide, Winning at Disney, which not only has the answer to this fiendish mystery at hand, but it also has the best tips for other Disney World rides too. Just scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or click on the link in the description below, and we'll take you to the page where you can download this free guide today. Let's think about life's greatest joys. Taking that vacation you've always wanted to take, getting that job promotion you've been dreaming about, or maybe being chosen as the Rebel Spy on Star Tours. While each Rebel Spy is completely chosen at random, you might have a better shot at becoming the one if you check out this Hollywood Studios ride toward the very beginning or very end of the day. It's a simple hack, but a hack nonetheless. Fewer people on the ride means more chances for you to check off this Star Wars bucket list item. Some of Disney's secret menu items have become a little more mainstream nowadays, like the Brazilian cheese bread over at Skipper Canteen in Magic Kingdom. We probably talk about it too much. Or the secret cake slices that are sometimes available over at Gideon's Bakehouse in Disney Springs. And if you didn't know about either of those before, well, surprise, now you do. But Disney also has a whole slew of other off-menu items at different restaurants that you'd never know to ask for if you didn't hear about them down the grapevine. Hi, I'm the Grapevine. Nice to meet ya. For example, at Territory Lounge and Wilderness Lodge, you can actually order some specialty items from two of the resort's other restaurants. You can get an order of ribs and or flourless chocolate cake straight from the Whispering Canyon Cafe. Or here's the option I've always loved better. You can also get a bowl of the mushroom soup straight out of Artist Point without having to worry about the Artist Point reservation and prefix menu prices. I used to love that mushroom soup when I went to Artist Point, when it was Artist Point, like way back in the day before Snow White and whatever. And I love that I can still get it out of the kitchen at Territory Lounge. One of my favorite secret menu items that's been around for years is the Shadow cocktail over at Bellevue Lounge and Boardwalk Inn. The Shadow is a mixture of Chambord, Godiva chocolate liqueur, vanilla vodka, and heavy cream. It's as much dessert as it is a cocktail, and it's not on the menu. Okay, I couldn't wait any longer before spilling our first DFB guidebook secret. I was at my breaking point, but I'm sure I don't need to ask for forgiveness from you because I'm sure you're just as excited as I am, and I think you're gonna like this one. That's the good thing about us. We hype each other up. So here's guidebook secret numero uno. Some restaurants like Cinderella's Royal Table and Crystal Palace in Magic Kingdom open before the park does. In fact, they tend to open even earlier than that before early theme park entry kicks off for Disney's hotel guests too. So if you book a dining reservation at one of these restaurants for one of the first time slots of the day, usually around 8 a.m., you'll be allowed to enter Magic Kingdom before even the early theme park entry guests, which means you could be walking right down the middle of Main Street, USA, an hour before the park opens their gates. You won't be able to take a detour and hop onto Seven Dwarfs Mine Train real quick since all the rides and attractions will still be closed, but you'll be able to get that epic Cinderella Castle reveal in a practically empty park and capture a few photos of your family without a whole lot of other guests in the background while you're at it. Now, each Disney park typically has a designated line for guests with early morning dining reservations. Just have your advanced dining reservation confirmation details available and follow the signage to the correct line. Or if you're not seeing that line right off the bat, ask a nearby cast member to point you in the right direction. The second little tip on this one is that if you get there at 8, you eat your food, and you're done, then when the park opens, you're already further into the park than anybody else, which means you have a clear shot to any ride you want to get in line for first. I know we're a little competitive around here, but hey, what can I say? Now, this is something that I don't think people talk about very often, but it could be really, really helpful if you're headed to Disney World right before a holiday. So people ask me this all the time on Instagram DMs and stuff like that. Like, when does Magic Kingdom put up its Christmas decorations? Well, it's actually pretty easy to predict. December gets to be a pretty packed out time to visit Disney World, since several folks like to prioritize this time of year to see the parks and resorts in Disney Springs all decked out for the season. So if you were wanting to get ahead of these crowds and see Disney World just as soon as it enters into Christmas mode, when should you be planning your trip? Let's say after the last Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party on Halloween night, Disney Imagineers and cast members are slapping up those Christmas decorations in Magic Kingdom the very same night, right after all the guests are back in their hotel rooms and out of their costumes. Magic Kingdom tends to be the first park that sees Christmas decor, literally starting the day after the last Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. But you're not going to see everything that first day. You'll mostly see some of the Mickey wreaths on Main Street. You'll see some garland and decor. You're not going to see the Christmas tree first day after Halloween, and you probably won't see the decor elements in the hub, but you're going to see the Mickeys on Main Street USA usually. So what about the other parks and hotels? Okay, so the Disney hotels usually follow suit shortly after, with those massive lobby trees and intricate gingerbread houses out and ready to be seen during kind of the second weeks of November. Usually Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom Lodge are going to be the last ones to put their trees up, and those are going to come later in November. Hollywood Studios is going to have Christmas decor up pretty early. So we've even seen it go up in October, but usually first week in November. Animal Kingdom's going to be around the same time, and Epcot waits to put up its Christmas decor until the day after Thanksgiving, when it starts its Festival of the Holidays. Now, after hours holiday parties like Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at Magic Kingdom and Jollywood Nights at Hollywood Studios don't typically start up until the end of that first week of November. In 2024, Very Merry's first event took place on November 8th and Jollywood started on November 9th. So we expect to see a similar situation for 2025 as well. This is a super fun one too. How to avoid getting soaked on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. During a 90+ degree park day, getting soaked on Tiana's is a hoot and a holler, and we love it. But if you're wanting to check out this brand new adventure during a day that's not so toasty, like in the winter season or on a particularly chilly spring Florida morning, then perhaps the idea of walking around in soggy clothes for hours on end is not awesome. So if you're looking for a way to avoid getting bathtub soaked on Tiana's ride, try requesting a seat in the back. Of course, sitting in the back won't mean you won't get wet at all, but because of the weight distribution in the vehicle, usually the front part of the log gets the brunt of the impact. Also, keep in mind that while cast members try their best to accommodate row requests, they won't always be able to grant yours for whatever reason. Never hurts to ask though, so ask away. As funny as a candid ride photo is, there might be some Disney rides with hidden photo ops that you want to plan fun group poses for, especially since a multi-pass Lightning Lane purchase will come with free ride downloads all day long. So if you're wondering where some of the photo spots are hiding out inside of Disney's most popular PhotoPass applicable rides, here are a few camera reveals to help you out. Because there's nothing worse than actually being able to get a picture for free and you're looking in completely the wrong direction, right? Right. So here's a quick warning on this one. Results may vary and you still might make a half blinking slack-jaw face regardless, making you the laughingstock of your entire family for years to come. So consider yourself thoroughly warned. Let's start with Space Mountain in Magic Kingdom because I am still unable to turn the right direction for this one. No matter how aware I am of the photo on Space Mountain, I always look awful in it, but maybe you will have better luck. This camera is located toward the beginning of the ride and it happens right after you ride through a narrow tunnel. The ride picks up a bit of speed and then turns to the left or right depending on which side of the track you're on, and then bam, the photo is taken. The camera is on different sides depending on which side of the ride you're on. There's a left side and a right side, so depending on where you board, your camera is going to be on different sides. If your vehicle turns to the right, the camera's on the right. But if your vehicle turns to the left, the camera's on the left. The picture happens pretty quickly after the turn, so be ready. Heading over to Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios. So you might think the Slinky Dog photo would happen during that initial launch, but it's actually somewhere else entirely. Once you go through a series of small bunny hills, you'll begin a downhill descent, and that's where the photo is actually taken. On Expedition Everest, they're gonna make you wait for that ride photo. On the final drop after you see the Yeti roar and rip up the track overhead, the photo will be taken as you start plummeting down the hill. I usually look sick and green because I get really, really ill during the backwards part. Next up is Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, this picture op is located toward the beginning of the ride and will happen right before the little drop. You'll know it's coming when you see a Jolly Roger on the left that's speaking to you. The camera's located inside the skull and it'll take your picture right before you take that plunge. And Frozen Ever After in Epcot. So the photo for Frozen Ever After takes place near the end of the ride, but this one's pretty easy to prepare for. After the drop with Marshmallow and the adorable Snowgy crew, look up and smile. It's ice cream time, but not just any ice cream. We're looking at the best and most over-the-top epic Disney World sundaes and where you can get them. Sundae number one is, of course, say it with me, the kitchen sink. Yep, the classic kitchen sink over at Beaches and Cream at Beach Club Resort is a massive sundae that serves up to 4 people, and it's made with scoops of vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, cookies and cream, and mint chocolate chip ice cream. Then it's smothered in basically every topping you can get at the restaurant, and a whole can of whipped cream. So it's definitely a crowd pleaser and a whole bunch of fun, but you're gonna need everybody to tackle this monstrous creation, so be prepared to share. Sundae number 2, the Sand Pail Sundae. How about a sundae plus a souvenir? The Sand Pail Sundae is available at both Disney World water parks, whichever one is open at the time of your visit, and it's made with vanilla and chocolate soft serve, sprinkles, waffle cone pieces, yellow cake, hot fudge, caramel sauce, whipped cream, and a cherry on top. But it's also layered inside a sand pail bucket, so how cute is that? If you're at Blizzard Beach, the Sand Pail Sundae is typically served over at IC Expeditions, and if you're at Typhoon Lagoon, it's at Happy Landings. Sundae number 3 is a brand new one to the list. The At the Movies ice cream bucket is available at the Rialto stand inside the world premiere food court at All-Star Movies Resort. This place just reopened after refurbishment, and this came on the menu about a month and a half ago. This treat is served inside a popcorn bucket, but instead of that bucket being filled with movie butter popcorn, it's loaded up with your choice of vanilla, chocolate or swirl soft serve ice cream, caramel popcorn, Twix cookie bar pieces, M&M's milk chocolate candies, Snickers bar pieces, chocolate and caramel sauces, whipped cream, cherries, and sprinkles. Sugar Rush, here we come. So we've got a secret short list of which resorts to book if you want to stay in brand new rooms in Disney World. There's something special about getting to your hotel room and finding out you're staying somewhere that's recently been remodeled or that's just brand spanking new. It looks sparkling, it feels inviting, it's still got that brand new smell, and you're one of the first people who gets to experience it. And lucky for us, Disney's going to give us a lot of potential opportunities to stay in some shining, shimmering, and new rooms in 2025. First up, as you might already be aware, Disney World recently opened its newest Disney Vacation Club hotel, Island Tower at Polynesian Village Resort. This was at the end of last year, December 17th. The new tower boasts gorgeous rooms with views across the Seven Seas Lagoon and Magic Kingdom, and the tower also has new features beyond just the rooms themselves, like a Moana-themed splash pad and tropical-themed Wailulu pool bar, even some public fireworks viewing areas that you can only get to if you're staying there. And before Island Tower officially opened, Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground opened up their first wave of brand new modernized DVC cabins for those looking to stay on property and have a little extra space to spread out. The Boardwalk Inn has had some major refurbs over the past few years, and now you can stay in a room that's been revamped with new furniture, new colors, and little pops of Disney theming while still holding on to that turn-of-the-century charm we all know and love. Port Orleans Resort French Quarter has been undergoing room refurbishments since May 2024, and while all room remodels are expected to be done sometime this spring, you could get lucky and get placed in a renovated room like right now. Last time we checked, which I think was a couple of days ago, they're really only working on building number 5 at this point, so all the other rooms should be renovated, fingers crossed. Meanwhile, the neighboring Port Orleans Riverside Resort will begin reimagining its Magnolia Bend rooms, including the Royal Rooms, in April 2025. The remodel is expected to last through January 2026, so while this hotel isn't guaranteed to have new rooms this year, some remodeling may be done before the next year. Yacht Club Resort started up a rousing round of room renos at the start of this year and is slated to finish those by May 2025. And Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary Resort and Copper Creek Villas at Wilderness Lodge are both in the midst of some major remodeling too, but they're expected to wrap up by September 2025. Finally, Pop Century will also begin remodeling its guest rooms starting in late March 2025, and the refurbishments will continue through mid-February of next year, so similar to Port Orleans Riverside. It is possible to see some guest rooms done before February 2026, but there aren't guarantees. No matter how many times Boardwalk Inn is upgraded, or how many times it gets a new spit shine, or how many times guests plead for mercy because the hauntings are endless, the nanny chairs remain. Friends, I'd like to introduce you to my good friends Carrie, Alex, Todd, and Paul. These are the resort's 4 nanny chairs, 2 of which you'll commonly find flanking a fireplace located in the lobby, while the other 2 tend to spend their time elsewhere. You never really know where you're going to see them. You never really know which 2 they're going to be, but they're going to be someplace else in the hotel, and most likely you will come across them in the middle of the night, and they're terrifying. Anyway, they are not the only thing giving me the heebie-jeebies. These chairs move, like they trade places frequently. Pretty sure it's just the cast members moving these horror movie-worthy props around, but I haven't seen this happen with my own 2 eyes. So the verdict's still out, and I think they probably move of their own volition, like they clomp around on their weird little arms and feet. I don't know. Now, why do these chairs exist? Okay, great question. They actually do serve theming purpose. The unsettling little people are cast from 19th century carousel seats, which used to give nannies a rest while the kids went for a spin on the merry-go-round. And so they do fit the boardwalk theme. They're just, terrifying. But oh my gosh, if they ever got rid of them, I would sob. So please keep them, Boardwalk. We love them. We're just scared of them. So while the upgrades at Boardwalk Inn have been many, the nanny chair horrors persist, and we hope they do forever. Okay, where are all my Disney Visa card holders? Because this secret tip is for you. You can find exclusive meet and greet opportunities at Hollywood Studios and Epcot. And if that wasn't sweet enough, because the meet and greet waits here are super short, these opportunities will also give you free PhotoPass downloads of your character interaction. But the only way to access this is for someone in your group to be a Disney Visa card holder. The Disney Visa meet and greet spot at Hollywood Studios is inside Star Wars Launch Bay and gives you the opportunity to meet Luke's father, Darth Vader, the black-cloaked baddie with the red saber who says ominous things like, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." That guy, he's a pretty big deal. And over at Epcot, you can find the meet and greet spot super close to the Journey into Imagination with Figment ride. Often this meet and greet will host Mickey and another Fab Five member, which is more often than not going to be Minnie, though she might switch out every now and then for someone else. Check the Disney World website for character meet and greet times before you go, since they are subject to change, and be sure to bring your Disney Visa card with you too. Gotta use that as your ticket in. So I'm actually not done talking about Boardwalk Inn just yet. This place is just stocked with pro secrets, y'all, and I am pretty sure it's haunted. Now, take Abracadabar, for instance. Before this place was a magician-themed lounge, it was once a candy store called Seashore Sweets. I'm sure a bunch of you out in the audience remember that. Now, that wasn't always the original plan for this location, though. Originally, we're talking back in the 90s, the building was supposed to be a lounge because the area was going to be shared by both the Flying Fish restaurant, still in operation, and the Spoodles restaurant, which has since been replaced with Cat Cora's restaurant Cucina and is now Trattoria Al Forno. But Disney's CEO at the time, Michael Eisner, thought a boardwalk should have a saltwater taffy and ice cream shop, but no one had built one in. So he traded it out. Fair. I get it. A turn-of-the-century boardwalk and saltwater taffy seem to go hand in hand. Great in theory, not so great in execution, just because of the location alone. Not only was Seashore Suites sandwiched between 2 restaurants, but it also was where you'd find the entrance for both sets of restrooms. So one minute you were fine dining on seafood in your fancy clothes over at Flying Fish, and then you had to basically go into this really bright candy store and restroom just to go to the bathroom. So anyway, didn't give a super great vibe for the 2 dining locations, and Seashore Suites closed in February 2016 and reopened as Abracadabar a few months later to become the lounge it was always meant to be. Okay, this is an oldie but a goodie, and even some pros forget about this one from time to time. If you're entering the park, any of the parks, first thing in the morning, keep in mind that there are several different turnstile lines to choose from. Lots of people tend to follow the rush of the crowd, meaning one turnstile line manages to get longer than all the rest, or those ones in the middle. It kind of looks like a bell curve. But don't do that. Instead, look toward the far left or the far right entrances, which tend to have much shorter lines than the ones that get all clogged up in the middle. Walking those few extra steps to the farther away lines is going to save you time in the long run. Now, did you know if you're staying in a hotel near a park, you're going to want to know where all the secret doors are? You know how at hotels they have those emergency exit doors that usually are at the ends of the building with the stairs and stuff? Well, there's one of those doors at the Beach Club Resort that is very, very important. And if you're planning on walking to and from Epcot from this hotel, then you need to know about it. Check out this map of Beach Club. Right here is the closest point to Epcot's International Gateway, the backside of the park, which is where you're going to find the resort's secret door, their basically emergency exit door. Now, when you're walking away from Epcot and towards Beach Club, you'll want to follow that first little path you come across on your right-hand side that branches off from the Epcot walkway. There's a little fence there. You can go ahead and open it and head on in. This will lead you directly up to that secret hidden door. The door opens into the Beach Club hallway, which could save you a long and uncomfortable walk in the rain if your own hotel room is located further inside the resort. And if your hotel room is on this side of the hotel, don't walk all the way to the lobby and then retrace your steps all the way back. Just enter through this door instead. Note that the secret door isn't for everyone to use. It's strictly for Beach Club hotel guests only. You're going to have to use your room key or your Magic Band to get in. But here's the really cool part about this door. The room located just inside, right next to it, is room number 1501, which is by far the closest hotel room you can possibly book to Epcot. Because even though some boardwalk rooms might be closer to Epcot, you'll have to walk further to get there. Magic Kingdom's Kiss Goodnight is just as sweet as it sounds. Unless it sounds creepy to you. I promise it's sweet. The Kiss Goodnight is the name for the very, very brief show, if you'd even call it that happens on Cinderella Castle after the park closes. While Magic Kingdom does have specific closing hours, the shops down Main Street USA tend to stay open for an extra 30 to 60 minutes for guests who are still lingering and waiting for those initial transportation lines to die down. Good plan. Now, when the shops are finally getting ready to close too, the lighting on the castle changes and the music swells, and guests are thanked for visiting Magic Kingdom. It's a very brief moment, but it's such a cute cherry on top of an already Disney-filled day. So a lot of people like to hang around and wait to hear that. All right, we've made it to guidebook secret number 2. Ready for some more dining secrets straight from the DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining? I thought you would be. If you're on the hunt for a margarita in Disney World, usually La Cava del Tequila over in Epcot is the place to go, right? Since this Mexico Pavilion bar is known for its eclectic drinks and excellent mixology, tasty chips and queso. However, did you know that Frontera Cocina in Disney Springs and Maya Grill at Coronado Springs use the same mixology team that La Cava has? So when you look at the Marg menus at either location, they may look very, very similar to what you'll find inside Epcot. So the next time you don't want to pay a whole park ticket just for a specialty La Cava Marg, these restaurants can hook you up with the good stuff. Rarely will you ever see a Disney World restaurant stay open past 11 p.m. these days. Some lounges, like Three Bridges Bar and Grill in Coronado Springs and Trader Sam's Grog Grotto at Polynesian Village, will stay open till midnight, but those kind of hours around Disney World are still few and far between. But there are 4 places you can go on Disney property that stay open 24/7. Just in case you need a bite to eat in the middle of the night. And those places are Speedway, 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 and McDonald's? Yep, there are 3 gas stations on property in Disney World that are 24/7. One is near Disney Springs, directly across from the Lime Garage. Another is on East Buena Vista Drive, right near the Epcot resorts. And the last one you'll find near the Transportation and Ticket Center, just a couple of turns from the Magic Kingdom parking lot, and makes for a super easy stop if you're exiting that lot. So if you're heading out of the parks real late at the tail end of an after hours event or holiday party or the like, and you need something quick to tide you over till morning, Speedway might be your bright, shining beacon of hope in a desert of sleeping restaurants. Believe me, I've gotten Speedway sandwiches more than once. But if you got a hankering for a McChicken and a large half-cut tea, the McDonald's located inside the Disney bubble recently returned to being a 24/7 fast food restaurant too. For a while there, during the peak of COVID, it wasn't, but it's now back to those normal 24-hour operations once again. You can find this McDonald's at 1596 West Buena Vista, super close to the All-Star Sports Resort. And speaking of 24/7 locations pre-COVID times, Disney restaurants like Gasparilla Island Grill and Grand Floridian Resort and Captain Cook's at Polynesian Village used to be open all hours of the day and night, but those 24/7 operations haven't been around in a good long while. That being said, you can still order from one of these locations until midnight if you're looking for a late night meal at your deluxe resort. Now, this is a brand spanking new tip. This one just started happening like this week. In our past Disney World hotel videos, we've mentioned that one of the fun bonuses of visiting a Disney World resort, either as a guest or someone that's just poking their head in for the afternoon, is that Disney characters can often pop up in or near a resort lobby on a whim. But lately, these character sightings have been a lot less random. We've been seeing select resorts put up signage in their hotel lobbies with specific days and time frames to let guests know when Disney's characters are going to be there. Most recently, we found a character experience sign posted in the Port Orleans French Quarter lobby, alerting guests that Disney Pals would be making brief appearances on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 9:30 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. While these times are subject to change and characters are subject to change too, keep your eyes open for character experience signs around your resort lobby so you'll know when to be on the lookout for some fab Disney friends. And heads up, this also means that it's another way to see characters without buying a ticket or buying a meal. And because people don't know they're there and it's in the middle of the day when everyone else is at the parks, the lines to meet them are not going to be long. So just heads up, this is a big one. Wait a minute, we're standing at Epcot right now, so why are we also looking at Hollywood Studios? Well, when you're standing across from the Morocco Pavilion on the other side of the World Showcase Lagoon, take a moment to admire the architecture. At first glance, you might be going, yeah, cool, it's beautiful, what's the secret? Take another glance. Are there any extra structures you notice this time around? You might be going, wait a minute, is that Tower of Terror? And yes it is. Disney's Imagineers are good at dropping you in a land and keeping you immersed in it, no matter what structures might be visible off in the distance. And unfortunately, as we know, Orlando is very, very flat. So if there's anything tall nearby, you're gonna be able to see it from the park you're in. So when Imagineers were building Disney's Hollywood Studios, they knew Tower of Terror would stick out like a sore thumb from the perspective of the World Showcase, which is why they chose that faded red color scheme for the hotel. They wanted the thrill ride's design to match the other buildings in Morocco when viewed from a distance. Guidebook secret number 3, it's been too long without a guidebook secret. Let's fix that. Normally, Morimoto Asia at Disney Springs and Akershus Royal Banquet Hall at Epcot are considered to be 2-credit table service restaurants if you're using the Disney dining plan during your next visit. However, there is a way you can eat at either location for just 1 credit instead. This is a super secret hack that I don't hear anybody talk about except us. At Morimoto Asia, choose to dine here for lunch instead of dinner to bring down the price from a 2-credit meal to a 1-credit meal. And at Akershus Royal Banquet Hall, book a meal here for breakfast instead of lunch or dinner to see this princess character dining experience for just 1 credit instead of 2. There's a lot to learn about Disney's premium Skip the Line ride service, so much so that we've created a completely detailed and completely free Lightning Lane guide to help you keep it all organized and easy for you to keep track of. Scan the QR code you see on the screen or head to disneyfoodblog.com/multipass to get your free guide after this. But what I want to talk to you about today when it comes to Lightning Lanes is a brand new hack that the team and I have just discovered that could seriously save your hide. There's a 3-hour grace period where you can still scan into your Lightning Lanes even if it's already way past your return time window. Now, we didn't want to tell you this secret before having tested it out ourselves. First, since you're definitely not going to find this info on the Disney World website anywhere, we had a few of our DFB reporters test this one by purposefully being late for their Lightning Lane return window. I know, that's not great, but we needed to figure it out for you. And the max amount of time they were able to scan in and still get the green light of approval versus the blue light, which means you're too late to Lightning Lane and will more than likely be turned away, was 2 hours after their Lightning Lane return window was supposed to have ended. So when your Disney World app gives you a 1-hour return window, it's more likely a 3-hour return window. Technically 179 minutes, but who's counting? Well, in the past with Genie Plus, the grace period was only 15 minutes, so this 3-hour window was a big shock to us in the best way possible. Now, Disney could change this rule at any time, so I don't recommend relying on it if you don't have to, but it's nice to know that you've got a large safety net to fall back on if you're running a little or a lot behind schedule. So we already know that Disney likes to throw a party, but do you know how to throw one while you're at Disney? There are multiple ways to bring your celebration to Disney World. You can book a nice dinner, deck out your hotel room in fun celebratory decor, have a specialty cake ordered, or if you want to go really big with something like a family reunion or a graduation, vow renewal, corporate gathering, or whatever the reasoning may be, you might want to consider flat out booking a whole section of one of the parks. For example, you might be able to reserve a party at Expedition Expedition Everest and Animal Kingdom. Yes, I agree. That sounds like the coolest thing ever. The area will be decorated for your event as though you're at an annual festival in a Himalayan village. And the best part, for an extra cost, pretty hefty extra cost, but still, you can even keep the ride open too. So you and your party crew can enjoy Expedition Everest with no waits and no other guests. Wishing you could party abroad? Well, you sort of can at Epcot. You can host your party on the private island on the World Showcase Lagoon near the Italy Pavilion and get a beautiful view of the luminous fireworks. You can even book out Typhoon Lagoon Water Park, complete with hosted bars and live beachside entertainment. And if you choose to have a nighttime beach party, guests can enjoy a tropical themed buffet dinner and float in the wave pool, just not at the same time. Please don't eat and swim. That's a stomach cramp waiting to happen. A few other event location possibilities include Tower of Terror Terrace at Hollywood Studios, dinner on the Beauty and the Beast live on stage shows stage in front of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot, and upstairs in Epcot's Norway Pavilion. Yeah, who knew that was a thing, right? Just begin the planning stages of your Disney custom design celebration by submitting a request on the Disney Meetings and Events page, where Disney's going to work with you to see what you might be able to book for your gathering, as well as the price points that work around your budget. Just keep in mind that this is not cheap. Custom private events start at $15,000. So this isn't just something you'll want to plan on doing for a casual get-together with the gals. You're going to want to plan something big and important for an event like this. So you might not exactly be searching for a comfy, crackling, toasty fireplace while you're vacationing in Orlando, the Sunshine State, but you should, because Wilderness Lodge has an abundance of them, and not everybody knows where they are. Normally, the fireplace that's really going to steal your attention is that 82-foot tall one that serves as a main focal point of the lobby. But right above the entrance doors and on the second floor of the resort, there's a secret and uber cozy alcove where you can find a peaceful fireplace, chairs to sit and read for a spell, and a breathtaking view across the lobby for maximum people watching. Okay, I'm getting a little too excited about these guidebook secrets, but I refuse to hold back because these are gold. You can join your aunts, uncles, and cousins over at 50's Primetime Cafe at Hollywood Studios for a retro restaurant experience where you might be put on blast for doing something totally rebellious, like not eating your veggies or forgetting to say please and thank you and excuse me. So if you're heading over there and you want to really embrace the retro era of this restaurant, then try requesting a TV table. While these might not always be available during your visit, if you're able to snag one, you can watch lots of black and white clips from years gone by via your own tube set. Just be sure to keep your elbows off the table because you'll get scolded for that too. If you're a Disney Vacation Club member, you can have access to private lounges all trip long. And why is that a big deal? Because Disney Vacation Club lounges not only give you a place to escape the crowds and heat, but they also give you complimentary snacks and drinks during your visit too. It's kind of like airport lounge privileges, but like a whole lot more expensive than that. So where can you find the secret DVC lounges in the parks? There's one inside the Imagination Pavilion at the exit of Journey into Imagination with Figment at Epcot. There's that re-themed one on the top of Bay Lake Tower at Disney's Contemporary Resort. It's been rethemed as a villain's lair. And coming this summer, a brand new lounge will be opening inside Magic Kingdom over in Frontierland where the Shootin' Arcade used to be. This lounge will be called McKim's Mile House and will embrace that 1800s Wild West vibe that Frontierland has been so well known for in the past. Though at this point, we're not sure what's really going to become of Frontierland's overall Wild West vibe. Lots of changes happening over in these here parts that we're just going to have to wait and see play out. Keep in mind that you don't necessarily have to be a Disney Vacation Club member in order to access these lounges, but you do have to be with one. DVC members are allowed to bring 5 guests with them at a time. So if you know a DVC member, then you can potentially be part of a lounge's VIP access through association alone. You just need to make sure the person who actually owns the DVC is with you. Otherwise, you won't be allowed in. Okay, so when it comes to ultra popular Disney restaurants like Cinderella's Royal Table in Magic Kingdom or Ohana in Polynesian Village Resort, advanced dining reservations book up fast, like really fast, sometimes in minutes. And while you'll always hear me encouraging you to keep checking back on the website or the My Disney Experience app just in case any availability pops up, because that can happen, guests make cancellations all the time, you might still be coming up dry in the Disney dining reservation world day after day after day. Now, if you still can't manage to score a popular dining reservation leading up to the day of your visit, rope drop the restaurant for one last attempt at getting on the list. One of our DFB editors did this at Ohana and it worked like magic. So once the restaurant opens, you can walk right up to the host stand and see if you can put your name on a wait list before it even goes live on the My Disney Experience app. Like I said, we just did this at Ohana and it's not foolproof by any means, but the few times the team has tried it while rope dropping dinner, not breakfast, they've only had to wait 10 minutes before they were called back over to be seated. So definitely worth a shot. Guidebook secret number 5. This is another table request secret because if you're going to be spending the money at a sit-down restaurant, you might as well try to get the best seat in the house while you're at it, right? Tony's Town Square in Magic Kingdom is super cute and Lady and the Tramp themed, but the real draw of this place is the patio dining. Oh, and the garlic bread appetizer. Can't forget about that. Oh, and the mozzarella sticks. Now, if you can snag a seat out on the patio, you could potentially get a really great view of the Festival of Fantasy parade while enjoying a hearty Italian lunch. You'll want to check the parade times before making your advanced dining reservation if this is a strategy you want to attempt, or even if you want to eat at a different time than when the main parade is going to be happening. You might still be able to catch one of Magic Kingdom's character cavalcades instead. Now, I will add on to this point, one of my favorite memories of being in Disney World is going to Tony's Town Square and sitting on the patio on a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party night. Now, remember, people are allowed to come in for the party at 4 p.m., even though the party doesn't start till 7. So even if you're not going to the party, you can still sit on the patio at Tony's, have a nice dinner, and watch all the people come in their fun costumes. It's really enjoyable. It's a blast for people watching, and I don't know, it's just a really fun time. Change is hard, but that doesn't mean we have to forget about what we once had. Disney never does and they never will, thanks to the secret shout-outs to defunct attractions that are hanging out in the rides that replace them. Secret shout-out number 1. On the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh inside Magic Kingdom, as you're heading into Owl's house, look to your left and you'll notice a photo of Mr. Toad handing the deed for the attraction over to Owl. This is a tribute to the old Mr. Toad's Wild Ride that was located in this same spot that Pooh now occupies. Secret shout out number 2. It makes sense that Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot has so many shout outs to the former Ellen's Energy Adventure / Universe of Energy ride, since this coaster is housed where this retired ride once resided. Just check out this column inside the ride. If you translate it from the Xandarian language to English, the top left says Ellen, the top right says Alex, as in Alex Trebek, who is also featured in the ride. The bottom left says E = MC squared, and the bottom right says Dino. You can also hear a bit of what sounds like an electric guitar version of the old Universe of Energy theme song as the Guardians fly into space right at the start of the ride. Listen for when the Celestial says, "What is that noise?" That noise is a blast from the past. During the reverse launch, there's another reference to some dialogue straight from Ellen's Energy Adventure, which involved Ellen mishearing Bill Nye talking about the Big Bang. If you listen closely, you'll hear Star-Lord say, "Big Bang," followed by Drax saying, "Ding dang?" And here's one more for you. After the second pre-show, you'll get a look at the ship schematics. And on the bottom right of the schematics, you'll find the old Universe of Energy symbol. Secret shout out number 3. In the final scene of Frozen Ever After at Epcot, take a closer look at the puffins. These are the same puffins that were used in Frozen Ever After's predecessor, Maelstrom. Maelstrom actually has another not-so-hidden reference at the nearby Royal Summer House. In the queue, you pass by a few woven tapestries, and one features the famous "Disappear, disappear" trolls seen on the old ride too. And secret shout out number 4. In the carnival scene of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway in Hollywood Studios, there's a poster advertising an attraction called the Great Moving Ride. This is an homage to the building's former inhabitant, the Great Movie Ride. So if you're staying at Caribbean Beach Resort during your next Disney visit, I've got 2 specific buildings that'll give you the major upper hand all trip long. The first is the Aruba building, specifically sections 55 and 56. While these buildings will be further away from the main Caribbean Beach Skyliner station, this resort is so spread out that the Aruba area is actually a whole lot closer to the Riviera's Skyliner station. Not to mention, if you don't want to worry about the whole Caribbean Beach bus loop, which can take a while when you've got 8 bus stops resort-wide, you can just walk a little further to the Riviera's bus station since they've only got 1 bus stop you have to worry about. The second is the Martinique building. Again, this building is going to put you farther away from the main Caribbean Beach Skyliner station, but closer to the Riviera one. And while it's not as close to the Riviera Skyliner station as the Aruba buildings are, Martinique will also place you closer to Old Port Royal, which is where all of the shopping and main dining locations are. So no joke, this could be the best thing you do during your Disney World visit. When you toss spare change into Disney's assorted fountains or major waterways, Disney collects those tossed coins and donates them to charities like Give Kids the World Village or Make-A-Wish. But what better place to make a wish and help wishes be granted in return than by tossing your nickels and dimes into Cinderella's wishing well in the Magic Kingdom? You can find it to the right-hand side of Cinderella Castle, close to Mirabelle's meet and greet location. There should also be a PhotoPass photographer nearby in case you want to get a couple nice shots as a keepsake. All right, guidebook secret number 6. When you book a reservation at California Grill, located on the top floor of the Contemporary Resort, you can go out on the private balcony during your dinner to get a clear view of the happily ever after fireworks in Magic Kingdom. You'll even be able to hear the music that goes along with the show since it'll be piped in through the restaurant. But if you dine here earlier in the evening when the fireworks show isn't happening, you can still return to the restaurant later on and watch the fireworks on the California Grill balcony. Just show your meal receipt to the hosts who will be located by the elevators on the second floor of the hotel, and you'll be able to head up in time to watch the show. I'm someone who likes to do a little light reading before they go to bed. I'm just naturally a night owl, so it takes me some time to wind down at night, even after a long day in the parks. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But some hotel rooms, Disney and non-Disney hotels alike, don't always have bedside or reading lights, just big lights over the bed that'll keep everyone up if you keep them on. I've had this problem in the past when my son and I go on a mother-son Disney trip. He needed to get some sleep, I wanted to read, so the compromise was turning off the lights so he could sleep and me having to sit in the bathtub in order to finish the chapter I was on. Oh, the things we do for our kids and our sanity. But instead of all my parent readers out there being resigned to the same fate, bring a little wraparound neck light with you that's easy to pack in your luggage. This is one I found on Amazon. It's $10, comes in different colors, it's flexible and chargeable, and it'll give you the freedom to stay in your bed and keep the hotel bathtubs reserved for bathing purposes only. Happy Hour tends to be a Disney Springs thing. You can find happy hour deals at locations like House of Blues and Haleo, Paradiso 37, Raglan Road, STK Orlando, Summer House on the Lake, and the Edison. You can even find a hot cookie hour over at Gideon's Bakehouse, which happens twice daily, once from 2 to 3 p.m. and once from 7 to 8 p.m. During this time, Gideon's will serve their classic half-pound chocolate chip cookies straight from the oven with a scoop of homemade vanilla ice cream. Yeah. Safe to say Disney Springs is well versed in the snack and drink discount department, but they're not the only ones. Over at the Disney World Dolphin Hotel, Todd English's Blue Zoo restaurant also has a happy hour deal that happens from 4 to 6 p.m. each night. While there's no official happy hour menu or offerings here, that means they're always bound to change. So be aware that you'll go into this happy hour a little blind, but deals and unique offers should still be up for grabs regardless. So Disney's special offers page on their website is usually our favorite place to find savings for upcoming Disney hotel stays. But if you're someone who frequently uses Priceline to help you save money on your hotels, you can potentially use this method to find hefty savings on Disney-owned hotels too. Now, in case you're not familiar with Priceline, this is another third-party travel agency website that can help you find some really great rates on typically pricey travel expenses. And while that might make you kind of nervous at first, it's not set up to scam you. It's a pretty reliable site, and many have found success while using it, so we wanted to let you know about it. That being said, you got to be careful with third-party sites, even reliable ones, because if for some reason you need to back out of your Disney hotel stay, or if you've got any questions and concerns about your upcoming stay, things are going to be a lot more complicated if you're booking through someone else and not Disney directly. So you'll want to read up on the Priceline fine print before using this as your preferred money-saving method. But definitely something to check out, especially if you're going for one of those last-minute, low-budget trips and you don't really care where you stay, and if you get to be on Disney property, great. Let's talk snail mail, but like magical snail mail. There are two fun ways to send letters inside the Magic Kingdom, and both serve completely different purposes. Method 1, find the mailbox on Main Street, USA. As long as you've got your letter in an envelope, already addressed and stamped, you'll be able to mail a wish you were here message back home to a friend. If you don't have a stamp on hand, you can buy what you need over at Main Street Chamber of Commerce, which is the building you'll see immediately to your left when you first enter the park. Note, every Disney World park has mailboxes that you can use to mail letters and postcards to friends while you're in the middle of your trip. In Epcot and Animal Kingdom, you'll find a mailbox near the front entrance, and in Hollywood Studios, you can find mailboxes on Sunset Boulevard and over by the front entrance too. This can and does occasionally change. Ever heard of a vagabond mailbox? Well, now you have. So be aware that a mailbox location might not stay still, and you might have to ask a cast member for help tracking it down. And method 2, head to Ye Olde Christmas Shop on Liberty Square. Here, kiddos will be able to mail a letter to the big man himself, Santa Claus. No envelope and stamps necessary. Everything you need is right there on the shop window, including the paper, the crayons, and even the Santa mailbox itself. It'll get there by magic. What's a Disney fan to do when your family is suddenly in the mood for a sit-down meal during your Disney World day, but you didn't make any advanced dining reservations to appease such a request? Well, we already mentioned earlier that last-minute reservations can typically be made at Disney World, or you can potentially join a walk-up waitlist for them, but some Disney restaurants might not budge when it comes to last-minute availability, especially if you're in one of the parks. Instead, they might remain booked up for the rest of the day, or they won't have any tables open until way later on when everyone in your group has suddenly turned ravenous and very hangry. So if you're looking for a restaurant that more often than not has open availability while you're inside the parks, here are the restaurants you're going to want to turn to. In Magic Kingdom, Liberty Tree Tavern is one of my favorite restaurants on property, and yet it often has last-minute availability that you can depend on. Liberty Tree serves up an all-you-can-eat Thanksgiving meal inside a dining area themed after a late 18th century home. And be sure to say hello to Tomato Baby while you're there. In Hollywood Studios, Hollywood and Vine often has last-minute availability, which is cool considering this is a character dining experience that also offers an all-you-can-eat buffet. In Animal Kingdom, you got an even better last-minute character dining all-you-can-eat buffet option, at least in my opinion. I like this one better, just for the food quality alone. Tusker House is another character dining meal, so you will be paying more for your food, but you'll meet Disney characters in their finest safari garb, all while you eat from a buffet full of African-inspired and American-inspired eats. And over at Epcot, well, La Crêperie de Paris isn't my favorite table service restaurant by a long shot, especially in Epcot. It's going to be the cheapest option you can book on the fly. This restaurant offers a variety of savory crepes called galettes and sweet crepes too. Now, of course, there are other restaurants that you might be able to book last-minute availability for. It'll all be on your My Disney Experience app, but these are some of the ones we've had good luck with in the past. Every time I go into Sea Base at Epcot, I find myself Googling weird things after, like where to buy sea urchins and 3D printed tiny hats for anemones. And it's all thanks to those hat-wearing Epcot urchins, which you can find on the ground level of this 2-story location. Every now and then, some of the Sea Base cast members will add little pairs of Mickey ears and other hats into the sea urchin tanks. And if the urchins feel so inclined, they might actually pick these up and place them on their cute little blob-like heads. For the urchins, this is a natural way to camouflage themselves. For us, it's a natural serotonin boost. We've even seen one little guy wear 2 Mickey hats at one time. Look, we've all been there. Sometimes you just can't decide which ears are going to go best with your outfit. Do not judge him for not being able to make up his mind. And then for different holidays, we'll see lots of different kinds of outfits and hats that they put down there for them. It's very cute. Definitely go check them out. How can you see a lot of Animal Kingdom's wildlife all at once and without the crowds? Well, by checking out some of the park's animal-centric trails. Not only will you see tons of animals through these self-guided walk-through areas, but these trails are a great way to get away from more congested areas that pop up around the park in case you need a bit of a breather. Now, I'm not even talking about Maharaja Jungle Trek and the Gorilla Falls Trail. Those are great. I love them, but they do get a little busy in certain spots, and these other two that I'm going to talk about right now just don't. One of my favorite places for much needed alone time is around the Discovery Island trails, also known as the Tree of Life trails. They surround the park's massive icon, and usually they're a lot less crowded than other areas of the park. You can enter these behind the tree near the bridge to Africa, or across from Adventurer's Outpost, where you can also meet Mickey and Minnie. Or you can get up close to the front of the icon by visiting the Tree of Life Garden, which has entrances near Pete Safari and across from Discovery Trading Company. We got more secret soda news. Soda goblins, come hither. I have an important announcement. Did you know over at Rosie's All-American Cafe in Hollywood Studios, you can find Mr. Pibb refills? Don't look at me like that. This is exciting stuff, y'all. You don't often find free refills in Disney World unless there's a Coke refillable machine available, so this news makes my wallet and taste buds very happy. As someone who longs to have a Dr. Pepper fix during her Disney day, but can never find DP in the parks because of that Coca-Cola sponsorship, Mr. Pibb is the next best thing, and I'll take it. You can only get one refill at these locations though, so sip slowly and savor this bubbly spiced goodness as long as you can. At the time of writing, we've also found Mr. Pibb refills over at Primo Piatto at Riviera Resort, but we're currently on the hunt to see what other places are hoarding Mr. Pibb refills around property, so stay tuned for future updates from your favorite Disney soda goblin. There's a reason I'm always telling y'all to visit those more underrated attractions. Not only are they a great place to escape the crowds and catch a little AC while you're at it, but some are packed with more history than you think, and we love us some history around here. Take the Hall of Presidents over on Liberty Square in Magic Kingdom. When you enter the building, look for the display case with the saddle. There, you're going to find a folded American flag. This isn't a prop American flag that's been created just for looks. This is the real deal. This very flag played a special role in the opening of Disney World. On October 1st, 1971, then President Richard Nixon flew an American flag outside of the White House and packaged that flag and sent it to Roy Disney. Roy had the flag flown during Disney World's dedication day on October 25th, 1971. This is only the second real American flag in the Magic Kingdom. The first one, of course, is on the flagpole in Town Square. There is a chance that guests can ride Kali River Rapids in Animal Kingdom and get off unscathed. You can make sure that never happens. Instead of standing on the bridge overlooking the portion of the ride surrounded by elephant statues and snapping a photo, look for buttons. When you hit them, you'll activate the elephants and they'll spray water from their trunk at all the passengers. Consider this your villain origin story. Learn from my mistakes. Getting in and out of those Space Mountain ride vehicles can be embarrassing, especially if you're wearing a skirt. And this is saying nothing for Astro Orbiter. I highly recommend wearing some shorts or slip shorts underneath your dresses or skirts, no matter what their length may be, if you plan on riding this coaster at some point during your day. And or if you plan on riding Tron 2, which thanks to its motorcycle-style ride vehicles will also give folks a peep show if you're not careful. Another important note, these rides, along with several others, not only feel awkward when it comes to sitting and having to adjust articles of clothing around your, areas, but they might be more difficult for those who have mobility issues to get on and off. Cast members will help out your family members who need a little extra time to board so that they don't feel rushed or stressed. Even on the Omnimover style rides that are constantly moving, they can stop them. That's why when you're on an Omnimover ride like Haunted Mansion in Magic Kingdom or Spaceship Earth in Epcot, your vehicle might get momentarily delayed for others who need the ride vehicle to stop for a minute as they take their time getting on and getting seated. So if you already know you're going to plan another trip back to Disney World before your current vacation is over, be on the lookout for bounce back offers from Disney. This allows you to get a usually hefty discount on your next vacation before your current one ends. The catch is that you do have to book your trip before you leave or within 7 days of checking out in order to get the discount. While this might be a rather sneaky way for Disney to convince you to spend more money by enticing you to book another trip, it can also add up to great savings if it was something you were already planning on doing anyway. If you're not seeing any obvious bounce back promos inside your room, you can always call extension 8844 from your hotel room phone to ask about any potential bounce back opportunities that could be going on. You might also see it being listed on your resort TV. Okay, let's do one more guidebook tip straight from our DFB guide to Walt Disney World dining. And if you want all the rest of them, which literally adds up to hundreds of dining secrets, you can grab this guide over at dfbstore.com after we wrap up here. You can even type in code YouTube for an extra discount before you check out. But first, let's spill our final guidebook secret for today's video. The Diamond Horseshoe over at Frontierland has an almost identical Thanksgiving-style menu to what Liberty Tree Tavern has to offer. They just call it the Saloon Feast at Diamond Horseshoe instead of the Patriots Platter. In the past, this Old West Musical Hall restaurant used to be a barbecue location, and the barbecue was mid at best, so I'd be cool if this change just never went away, because now I have 2 places where I'm guaranteed to get ooey gooey toffee cake, and that's amazing. The biggest thing you'll have to decide on is whether you want saloon vibes or colonial vibes surrounding you while you dine on your all-you-can-eat spread of turkey, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, but I usually choose Liberty Tree Tavern because, again, tomato baby. We've been really big on the custom, unique, one-of-a-kind Disney World souvenirs lately, right? But it's been a hot minute since we've talked about this particular one over in Magic Kingdom. Silhouette portrait artists in Magic Kingdom can be found in 2 locations, off of Liberty Square, just outside of Ye Olde Christmas Shop, and right off of Main Street, USA, just outside of Uptown Jewelers. These incredible artists will cut the silhouettes freehand using just a pair of scissors. And get this, they can make silhouettes of your pets too. Just bring a photo of your furry friend and the artist can add them to your family's collection of portraits. Prince Charming's Regal Carousel is just behind Cinderella Castle, and you know, it may not be your top priority ride or anything, but one of the best ride-throughs you can have on this classic attraction is grabbing a seat on Cinderella's personal horse. It may be tough to spot at first since you've got a lot of horses packed onto the carousel, but once you find the horse with the giant flowers decorating its mane and a golden ribbon tied around its tail, you'll know you've tracked down the one. There's just something real special about riding Cindy's personal horse behind her castle. It's Magic Kingdom core at its finest. Sometimes Disney needs to make things look a lot bigger or smaller than they actually are, and that's where forced perspective comes in. For instance, Cinderella Castle is smaller towards the top to make it look taller, and Main Street USA's buildings are not only smaller as they go up to make them appear bigger as well, but they are also closer together on the castle end of the street to make the castle look farther away. The illusion happens in reverse too if Disney needs to make a building appear smaller than it actually is. The most notable example of this is the main building in the American Adventure Pavilion in Epcot. While the show building is pretty tall, it's supposed to be built like a colonial American building, which were only like 2 or 3 stories tall back in the day. So Disney had the extra challenge of creating something big enough to house an entire theater without looking like it's big enough to house an entire theater. How'd they manage to pull that off? Imagineers scaled windows on the top floors larger than on the ground floor to make the building appear much smaller than it actually is. Okay, this next one is kind of a funny, kind of satirical one, but seriously, does anyone go to the movie in the Land Pavilion? Like, if I were to step inside this theater and call out hello, would it echo? Epcot has been showing this Awesome Planet 10-minute film for over 5 years now, and in those 5 years, this is probably the most I've talked about it. Don't get me wrong, it's cute and has a nice message about why we should treat the earth with respect, but there's nothing much else going on here. It's a theater, it's a little show, and it's a decent place to just sit and breathe and enjoy the AC if nothing else, but let me know in the comments if you've actually seen this show. Maybe I will be completely aghast and so proud of you. So have any of today's secrets shocked you, or do you have other pro Disney secrets you want to add to our repertoire? For even more Disney secrets and hacks and pro tips, be sure to check out our full Secrets Disney Won't Tell You playlist next. And don't forget to pick up your free Lightning Lane guide right now at disneyfoodblog.com/multipass. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. This has been such a fun video. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I'll see you real soon.